On this day in July 1817, Chief Peguis and the Earl of Selkirk met to discuss the settlers' needs for farmland along the Red River, which Selkirk had purchased from the Hudson's Bay Company. Selkirk drafted an agreement between himself, representing the Crown, King George III, on the one hand, and Peguis and 4 other chiefs on the other. Today, we honor the intent of this agreement by reenacting the signing of this unique document, a treaty long before all other treaties in the West. Now, there are 5 chiefs whose marks are on the treaty. How many have we got today? 4? Okay, I'll introduce them, and if they are the ones who are here, please stand forward. Peguis, whose totem is a marten. Le Premier, is he here?
I think he's the one who's not here.
Okay. Le Sonnant, Machitogiweb, salamander is his totem. L'Homme Noir, Kajiski Binoa, a sturgeon is his totem. And La Robe Noire, Nichikadu Iko Nale, whose catfish is his totem. The witnesses, and I will ask them to step forward as well. Where's Captain Miles? Is he sitting down? Captain Miles MacDonnell is sitting down. He is Justice of the Peace, late Governor of the Colony, and formerly of the Royal Canadian Volunteers. Captain Proteus Dorsenens, late officer of the Regiment des Mirons, accompanied Selkirk's party to Red River in 1817. Peter Fiddler, retired Hudson's Bay Company surveyor. Thomas, surgeon, fur trader, justice of the peace, and politician. James Bird, fur trader, justice of the peace, and politician. J.B. Charles Delormier, interpreter, office holder, and justice of the peace. Louis Nolan, interpreter. Captain Frederick Mathey, officer of the DeMiron Regiment, engaged by Lord Selkirk, did accompany him to Red River in 1817, was also a witness, but has been called away. Now, we ask the Earl of Selkirk and then Chief Peguis to explain what the treaty means to each. Lord Selkirk?
I am delighted to meet the great chief of the Saulteaux. I have heard so much about you, and since I do not speak your tongue, I have asked Mr. Charles Delormier, my interpreter, to translate my thoughts to you. It is truly wonderful to see all of the chiefs who have come together offering friendship and support to the colonists here at the Red River. The settlers have faced enormous challenges at their settlement on the Red River. We will enter into an agreement whereby the chiefs and yourself, Peguis, will receive gifts guaranteed by myself. We also, much cheered at being allowed, on behalf of our settlers, to use the lands along the banks of the Red River, which flow through the heart of our settlement. Upon signing of this agreement for the use of these lands, we have agreed to provide you and your chiefs, each year from here forward, a medallion from His Majesty King George III, a fine red coat, and 100 pounds of tobacco.
Tanin, Nino, Peguis, Disnabe Ogama. I am Peguis, Chief of the Saulteaux. I am a hunter and trader and member of the Marten clan. Wabashish, Dorum, known as healers and teachers. I am sometimes known as Cut Nose. When I was a younger man, the tip of my nose was bitten off in a fight. In recent years, traveling from our former lands in the east, my people settled in Nipawin, Dead River, now known as Netley Creek, where we were able to harvest the building materials required for our wigwams and wickiups. We were here when the 5th Earl of Selkirk settlers first arrived in this area. We greeted the arrival of the settlers, hoping that our friendship could benefit not only the settlers, but my own people. We cooperated and traded to help each other and became friends and allies. When the half-breeds harassed the settlers, I and my band escorted them to their boats with their cattle for a safe journey away from the settlement. Our trusted friend John McLeod stayed to guard the crops, but the half-breeds burned the houses and crops. I wept over the ashes of the governor's house. Now Lord Selkirk has come to this place to help his settlers who have had many difficulties to endure. He met with myself and with the other chiefs who lived in the area. Lord Selkirk has asked that we enter into an agreement between the tribes and the Earl of Selkirk, in which we would receive gifts, and in return we would allow the settlers to have the use of the land along the banks of the Red River. I offer the land at the forts of the Red and the Assiniboine. Le Premier offers land along the Red River to Pembina, L'Homme Noir, Pembina to Red Lake, and La Robe Noire, the area extending to Port of the Prairie. I give thanks to Mr. Peter Fiddler, surveyor of the Hudson's Bay Company Service, who assisted in writing this document for all to sign. This treaty signed with Lord Selkirk is an offer of peace and goodwill with our settler friends coming to this land with very little and needing a place to live their lives. This treaty is made with respect and with the blessedness of our Creator who guides us through our lives. The chiefs have agreed to sign.
Our clerk, Mr. Peter Fiddler, now has his quill pen ready for signatures on the agreement. Lord Selkirk, will you please sign first? And the other men can all gather around and sign. And once the treaty, this does take a few minutes. Once the treaty has been signed, and you feel free to go in a little closer if you like. Gifts will be, according to the promise in the treaty, will be presented. Lord Selkirk will present Pegwis with a red coat trimmed gold and a medallion of George III and 100 pounds of tobacco. Pegwis presents Selkirk with a fine beaver pelt. Chief Pegwis and the Earl of Selkirk cannot look into the future, but perhaps we can. Not far in the future from this agreement between friends, the promises to Pegwis and his people that were to be forever were not kept. Lord Selkirk died in 1820, and soon his estate did not keep the commitment to the chiefs. More and more settlers came to live on the land. The First Nations people were pushed aside. The promises were forgotten. But today, we honor the past and join together in reconciliation for the future. Lord Telford, would you like to proceed with the presentation, please? People could just step back a little bit. Thank you. Today's reenactment has been presented by Manitoba Living History Society solely because of our strong belief that the story, this history, this part of our shared history must be told. This is our small contribution to reconciliation. Thank you for coming and honoring this important agreement in history. Thank you all.
Go in and look at the documents and stuff if you want to. It's an actual.